Hey there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back. I'm your host, PattSun, and today we're going to be taking a look at r/surviving infidelity, where OP's wife has been maintaining an affair for almost 1 decade. Let's begin. My wife had an 8-year-long affair. Update 20 months later. Posted by Reddit user DownNotOut 2021.
Been married 26 years, the last 10 of which have not been good. We got along well and I really considered my wife my best friend, but the intimacy had drastically faded. She attributed it to menopause but was resistant to openly communicate about our troubles, and I foolishly stuck around for a number of reasons. Finances, kids, etc., but mostly because I really thought we could get that spark back if we just put some work into it. About 9 weeks ago, she signed us up for couples counseling and we both agreed in the session that we wanted to try to save our marriage. I left the session feeling optimistic. The very next day I found out that she has been in love with someone else and has been having an affair with him for the past 8 years. I found anniversary cards they had sent to each other. The shock was just overwhelming. I had suspicions about whether she had ever been unfaithful to me, but no way was I expecting this. Suddenly, the lack of intimacy, the coldness, the constant pulling away all made total sense. She's now moved out and we've both retained lawyers. I suspect the divorce will be ugly, but hoping we can do it through mediation and not have it drag on. My kids are older. One is senior in high school and one has just graduated college and moved back home, and we are doing okay. They were devastated by the news and I immediately got them good therapists. They haven't seen her since she left, but the anger they have towards her is lifting and I assume they will eventually have relationships with her. That's fine. My kids and I are incredibly close and I'm glad I can hold my head up high for them in all of this. My wife will never be able to do that and has to live knowing that any respect they had for her before is gone. For me, I have good days and bad days. The first few weeks were just awful. The movies in my head of the two of them together were relentless and I found it hard to eat, sleep, or work. That's mostly faded at this point. I tortured myself looking at old photos of the family and us together for a while, and it was hard looking at happy events such as birthdays, kids' graduations, vacations, etc., and realized she had been with him throughout all of those. I just don't know how she was able to do that. But I initially looked at those photos and saw the person I thought she was, and now I see in them the person she is. They are completely different photos now and I feel no need to look at them anymore. Here's what bothers me most right now. I'm optimistic about moving forward and having this person out of my life, but I'm just so bitter and angry about all this time that I lost. Yes, I should have left. I thought about it many times over the years and just didn't do it. I'm 56 now and feel that I perhaps could have been happy with someone else by now if she'd just ended the marriage when the affair started. Those were important years for me age-wise and they are just gone. I have no choice but to accept it and learn to live with it, but man, it's hard. Anyone have any comments about moving on after a long marriage? Or stories about dating or finding a new partner later in life? I could use a few.
OP, I highly suggest letting the kids know that it's over. Don't let her manipulate them to work against you. Their mother made her choice 8 years ago. Now, mind you, I've never been married before, but I was previously in a relationship for almost 10 years. I even got engaged. When the relationship ended, the number one thing that helped me was going no contact. In your case, OP, that is impossible, but I highly suggest not talking or engaging with her if it doesn't concern your kids. And now for OP's update.
So it's hard to believe 20 months have passed. No, I am not yet divorced. I stupidly let things coast for a while, attempting to get my ex to agree to mediation, racking up legal costs, etc. before finally officially filing about 6 months ago. We're now in mediation, and although it's not exactly going well, I hope we'll have an agreement soon. I really need this divorce to be done and dusted. As for how I am, I'm happy. Or perhaps I should say happier, as I still have my ups and downs. But certainly happier than I was when I was married. As mentioned in my original post, I did get into therapy soon after D-Day and only recently decided to stop seeing my therapist. It was helpful and I spent a good amount of time trying to figure out why I stayed so long in such an unhappy marriage. At the same time, I saw friends, leaned on family, exercised regularly, got my band going and did my best to find ways to make myself happy. I'm not completely done with therapy. I realize I have more work to do and will be finding another one soon. I don't think about my ex very much, but the trauma of it all still rears its head here and there. There is a garden where I work and a bench that I used to sit on during lunch when it was nice outside. The day after D-Day, I sat on that bench talking to my ex on the phone, asking how she could do what she did. I passed that bench every day and thought to myself today that I really hate that bench now. So yeah, I've still got some work to do. I began dating way too early. I'm almost embarrassed to write it. 3 months. But I was always honest about my status and have to say, I went on lots of great dates, always had interesting conversations, had a few relationships here and there, and made a few new friends as well. I've since taken a break from dating though, as I really just want to get this divorce done. And I enjoy the freedom of being on my own and not having to answer to anyone except myself. There's a point that I'm sure a lot of us in this situation feel. That point when you begin to feel like the person you used to be before you became unhappy and let it drag you down and change you. Hopefully you like that person and are glad to welcome them back. I am. I got a lot of support from this board for months after D-Day, and then all of a sudden, I had to stop visiting it. I felt it wasn't healthy to be consumed by so many triggering stories of cheating. So I unsubscribed for quite a while, and eventually when I felt better about things, I revisited, and it saddened me again. Not so much for my own situation this time, but reading the stories of those just at the beginning of this journey, when the pain is still so raw that the whole world seems to be spinning, just broke my heart. I wish I had some profound words of wisdom to offer everyone in that place right now, but it's been said many times before. It gets better with time. You'll get through it, hopefully wiser and stronger, and less likely to let others cross boundaries that you're hopefully setting for yourself. So here I am, 57 and single. I feel older than so many on here and shake my head a bit when I read someone wondering about future prospects at age 35 or 40. But it's fine. My life feels open to possibility like it hasn't in a long time, and I will keep on keeping on and see what happens. Take care all.
Those are called rebounds, which isn't exactly the healthiest thing to do so early after the breakup, but I'm guessing you were honest with them and didn't lead them on. Plus, you found out that several women are attracted to you, which is a nice ego boost after everything you're going through. Look man, I wish you and the kids good luck. You have done well, OP. And now for today's second story. Am I the asshole for telling my parents that they made their own bed so they can lay in it when they ask me for help? Posted by Reddit user, they made their own bed.
I was pretty much disowned by my entire family when I came out at 18. My parents gave me 5 minutes to grab my things before shutting me outside. I remember telling them that there was no way I could live on my own, that I was their kid and they should want to love and support me. My father told me that I made this bed myself by choosing my lifestyle, so I should grow up and learn to lay in it. I turned out pretty okay, all things considered. I was able to go to college on a few scholarships and not too many loans. I met my wife during our freshman year and I've been with her ever since. We have a 2-year-old daughter who is the most precious little person in the world. We bought a house, and we both have decent paying jobs. I consider myself to be incredibly lucky, and I can't imagine my life without my wife and our daughter. I don't keep in touch with my bio family, so I don't know how my parents got my contact info, but they did. My mom sent me a message detailing the financial issues they were going through. They had to sell the house I grew up in and they moved to some apartments. At the end of the message, my mom asked me if I'd be willing to help them out for a little while by letting them stay with me. I didn't respond to the message. I just planned on pretending like I never saw it. But then I got a call the other day, and as soon as I answered it, I realized my dad was on the other line. He told me the same thing my mom did and that they needed help. I said, "That really sucks. I hope you figure it out." He then flat out asked if I was seriously not going to provide them with any assistance. I asked why he wanted my help, and he told me that I should want to support my parents the way they supported me growing up. I replied saying that maybe if their support of me hadn't ended the moment I told them I was a lesbian, I'd be willing to help them, but unfortunately they made their bed themselves so they can lay in it too. I hung up on him, and later he left a voicemail calling me selfish and cruel for using their financial struggles to prove a point. Maybe it is cruel. I don't know. Edit. I sent my mom an email with a bunch of links to soup kitchens, food pantries, housing assistance, etc., and then I blocked both her and my dad. I might change my number if they try calling again, but for now I'm gonna leave it as is.
Absolutely not the asshole. If they let their bigotry abandon their daughter, then they deserve to no longer have a daughter. They don't get to pick you back up as their child when they need help. They made it clear that you were on your own, so that works both ways too. They disowned you, OP, and didn't even bother to try and reconcile until they needed you to help them. Well, too fucking bad. They did indeed make this bed with their own shitty choices, and they can lay in it. And I have to give you some credit here, OP. You sending your mom links to soup kitchens? That is absolutely savage and a true Giga Chad move. Well played. Viewer support is the best way for me to remain independent and continue bringing you these daily videos, which will always be here on my YouTube channel for you to watch absolutely free. So consider clicking that super thanks just below the video title, or you can use my PayPal in the description box down below. Thanks for listening, everyone. If you even somewhat enjoyed today's story, make sure to give this video a thumbs up, and if you really like it, make sure to subscribe to PattSun to never miss a future upload. Stay strong.